Yeah, we got an awful lot of stuff to talk about. Let's just run through this. NHL trading deadline is Friday. 3 major trades this weekend already. The Blackhawks got rid of former number 1 draft pick defenseman Seth Jones. He went to the Florida Panthers for number 1 and goaltender Spencer Knight. Colorado, which had already made trades earlier in this midseason, makes another deal to get tough guy defenseman Ryan Lindgren and veteran forward Jimmy Vesey. They come from the New York Rangers in a 4-for-2 deal. Nashville, Gustav Nyquist, goal scorer, goes to Minnesota. Minnesota Wild have been battered by injury, so they're just holding on for dear life. The next question, what happens between now and the trade deadline on Friday? Do the Ducks trade veteran goaltender John Gibson or the young center iceman Trevor Zegras? What happens with the Kings? They're desperately in need of another goal scorer. Do they trade one of their young defensemen to try to get a sniper? Vancouver is shopping Brock Besser, former 40-goal scorer. Canucks are just tearing their franchise apart. They're hanging on for dear life in the playoff mode. Pittsburgh, I think there's going to be a trade there. Won't be Sidney Crosby. They're talking about dealing Ricard Raquel. That's a veteran goal scorer. Used to be with the Ducks. Pretty good player. They're also trying to trade the big money contract to defenseman Erik Karlsson. Islanders got young defenseman Brock Nelson. He could be moved. Edmonton is trying to trade the big money contract of the controversial left winger Evander Kane, who's been out. And Buffalo, which has had a miserable season, is shopping Dylan Cousins. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens between now and by the time we join you at the end of the week. Last year, there were 43 trades made at the NHL trading deadline. So I think you're going to be some movement. You know, we talked extensively about the Four Nations Cup and how cool that was and the TV ratings and all that. Price to be paid. Matthew Tkachuk, Florida Panthers, gone for the rest of the season. Torn groin, suffered in the Cup. And by the way, there were 8 major injuries of players. Not one of those players has returned to the ice yet post Four Nations tournament. So there was a price to be paid there. Auto racing. Hey, you're a good old boy. Understand being a redneck, NASCAR fan, all that. Good old boys. Obviously, Formula One's going to start in 2 weeks, so we'll be paying attention to that. IndyCar racing started Sunday, Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. And this is the next wave of superstars on the IndyCar circuit. Alex Palou, absolutely ballsy race. He was the leader. He got caught in lap traffic, and he was getting pressed from behind by the second and third place drivers. And they were riding his tail on the road course in St. Pete's. He got caught in lap traffic and said, what the hell? Is he going to pass this guy? Is this guy going to pull over and let him go? Is he going to wreck trying to get around him? He got around him. And he wound up outrunning Joseph Newgarden, who then got caught by Scott Dixon. I mean, these final 3 guys on the final 5 laps, it was just spectacular. Alex Palou wins. Meanwhile, the other big story in IndyCar racing, you know, we've been talking about Michael Andretti, Cadillac F1, going to Formula One. Andretti has taken a team to Formula One, going to be based out of England. They're talking to Colton Herta, bright young driver here in the U.S., about being their American driver. They're also talking about signing European driver Valtteri Bottas to be part of Andretti's Cadillac F1 team. And one other note in soccer. This involves Manchester City, which is having a bit of a bumpy ride because they've been devastated by injuries. La Liga, which is the league, the governing body for Spanish soccer, has filed documents in a lawsuit with the English Premier League that Manchester City has run an illegal operation, and they want sanctions against Manchester City for violations of expenditures everywhere. And they provided this documentation to what's called the European Union, which governs soccer investigations. They filed documentation that Manchester City, which has all these business entities under their soccer umbrella, has been hiding all these illegal expenses to different companies' budgets under that umbrella. So they're talking about training expenses, doctors' expenses, bonus expenses, marketing side deals that all been hidden. Manchester City could be in a huge world of hurt if everything that La Liga in Spain presented to the European Union. So stay tuned for that. You know, everybody's got, in essence, a salary cap in soccer. Well, they're saying Manchester City has just violated this and violated it by hiding the expenses under their marketing company, under their youth programs budgets. It's absolutely stunning. Anyhow, those are other topics on the table. Have you been traded yet? Will you be here on Thursday for Thursday podcast, or might you be traded?
Yeah, I'm going to probably be traded in 97.3 or something. I'll be in the back room. Hey, this is interesting with Man City. We've been hearing a lot about these expenses and the funny money and the different cash flows that they've got. But, there are, like in baseball, we've got teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Red Sox that they have additional revenue streams from their TV packages. Some of the fans are saying, well, the Dodgers are really good at investing their money, so they get a return on the investment, and that can be used to fund some of these additional player salaries or pay for luxury taxes. So in the end, it's business enterprises beyond the scope of the team. But it's weird how in some leagues it's okay and other leagues it's not okay.
But you have in baseball, you have luxury tax. And then you file all these contracts, and you can defer, because the Dodgers have done that. And if Guggenheim wants to spend $383 million as ownership of the Dodgers, they can. That can be all documented, because it goes through the Players Association and goes through Management Council. I'll give you a different example, though. Red Sox are owned by Fenway Sports Group.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, take what I'm saying here and then apply it to the Manchester City umbrella. Fenway Sports Group owns English Premier League Liverpool.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Fenway Sports Group owns NASCAR team. So if Fenway Sports Group was spending money in marketing bonus clause contracts that went to baseball players, but they were putting it under the NASCAR budget or under the budget of the English Premier League team, that would be illegal as Major League Baseball views it. So,
well, that would be illegal from an accounting perspective as well.
Exactly. So that's what Manchester City's being accused of. I'm trying to put it into American language. If somebody here like Fenway Sports Group that owns all these other entities tried to hide money by saying, well, this expenditure goes to NASCAR. It doesn't go to Major League Baseball and the Red Sox.
Yeah, you see, this is tricky. You need a forensic accountant to get in there.
I told you shouldn't have cut accounting class that day.
Exactly. But it's one thing, they can take the money and they can allocate it and put it into a different bucket. But in the end, baseball says you can spend whatever you want to spend.
You're going to get taxed.
So you're going to get taxed. But these other leagues, they have a hard cap. So then they have the incentive to hide the expenses.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's where we are. Okay. We have put topics on the table. We're doing sports talk the way it should be done. Now it's your turn